Hello everybody on YouTube, this is Super Nintendo and welcome back to another episode of The Legend of Zelda Twilight Princess HD. Last time we defeated Ganondorf and saved the world of Hyrule. And we freed Midna of her curse to be a rather adorable yet terrifying imp. But she destroyed the Mirror of Twilight and left through it, leaving us on a rather somber, bittersweet ending. This time, we are actually going to be showing bonus stuff for The Legend of Zelda Twilight Princess HD that I did not have time to show before. Or talk about some stuff that I just didn't have time to talk about. So, without further ado, let's get into it. Alright, first thing I want to show is that thing regarding the mirror in Link's basement. I mentioned early on in the Let's Play that after you got a certain item, if you go down to the mirror in the basement, there's actually a really cool Easter egg for you. Alright. So we put away the sword. Look at that. There's Shadow Link. You can actually see this in other places in the game, but this is the most direct place to see it. And one thing that is actually pretty weird is if you... crap, you can't do it in this mode, can you? Can't do it in this game, can you? It was, if you go into the... If in the original, if you pulled up the pause menu, and then while you were looking in first person, Shadow Link's version of the Master Sword would actually turn into the normal Master Sword. It's pretty cool. I always like doing this. It's pretty cool. But on to more other types of thing. Another thing that is actually pretty cool is, I pressed the wrong button, is the Fuse Shadow. It looks eerily similar to another item in Zelda lore, the Majora's Mask. Many believe that the Fuse Shadow is actually an alternate version of the Majora's Mask, because this item actually this game has many similarities with the Majora's Mask. Zant has some similarities with Majora's Incarnation, in that both of them have very crazy attack styles. And the Majora's Mask also transforms its wearer using dark powers into a big monster. And also, the eye. It's actually a pretty good theory. I don't know if I believe in it too much, but it's a pretty interesting theory. But another thing that is a Majora's Mask parallel is, if I can... I don't know if I can show it just yet. Really hope I can. It is! It is! Oh, thank you, Hylia. Thank you. Thank you, Golden Goddesses. Thank you. Alright, so another thing that is actually pretty cool is the moon. you can kind of see a face on it. It's easier to see in the original version of Majora's Mask, or goddammit, in the original version of Twilight Princess. In the original version of Twilight Princess, it is a bit easier to see, but you can kind of see a face on the moon. And this is interesting because the moon actually did have a face in Majora's Mask. Another thing that is actually pretty interesting is I already mentioned in the Let's Play that Midna has many similarities to Tattle from Majora's Mask as well, but also a couple of the hidden sword skills are actually from Wind Waker. The parry moves. You have the helm splitter. You have the back slice. You know, it's actually, well, those two are pretty much the only real things, but you know, it's really cool that they reincorporated those moves into Twilight Princess. You know. This was also the first Zelda game to completely redesign the Hylian shield. The reason being is because in Ocarina of Time, the Hylian shield had a fourth golden triangle that was upside down on the bottom portion of the shield. Many people came up with a theory that there is actually a fourth piece to the Triforce because of that. So to kind of get rid of that theory, they changed the design of the Hylian shield in all subsequent games to this design. I always thought that was an interesting piece of Zelda lore. As for what that fourth piece might have been, many people believe it was the Triforce of Time, or perhaps a evil piece of the Triforce. And as for who this fourth goddess might have been who left this fourth piece of the Triforce, many believe that it was Hylia. However, I don't believe in this theory because Hylia gave up her mortal form to basically become Princess Zelda. The Golden Goddesses created the Triforce and literally went back to the Sacred Realm. We have no idea if the Golden Goddesses also gave up their their divinity to become mortals. But there is other characters who bear their names in the Oracle games. But, you know, that is just a thing. You know. Another piece of Zelda lore that is actually pretty interesting is in Majora's Mask. It is mentioned by Daruk, or is it Daruk, or is it? I think no, it's not Daruk. Daruk is from Breath of the Wild. It's mentioned by the Goron that Link takes the form of. I'm forgetting his name. You're gonna have to forgive me. Is that if a Goron falls in water, they sink like a stone, and essentially it's like falling into a bottomless pit for Gorons if you were to fall in the water. But we see in this game that they're perfectly able to survive underwater, given that Goron that is in Zora's domain. So that's, you know, a pretty interesting piece there. Oh, there is a place in the HD version of Twilight Princess, I don't know the location, but you can see like little carvings of Rito in there. indicating that Rito do exist somewhere in this version of Hyrule. I thought that was interesting. And one other thing for the Majora's Mask parallels is in the concept art for Twilight Princess, Ganondorf was originally going to have different armor. He was going to have armor that bared a striking resemblance to that of the Majora's Mask, possibly made from the mask itself. I thought that was a bit of interesting lore. Another thing is the differences between the game and the manga for Twilight Princess. I haven't read the entire manga, but Link has a very different personality in the manga than he does in this game. And you could probably say, what? Link has a personality in this game? Yeah, it's not something that I brought much attention to, but yes, he does have a personality. He is a character that actually likes playing with the village children. He is very clearly responsible because he has a job and whatnot, but he also has a reckless side because the way Aaliyah got mad at him early on in the game for hurting Epona jumping fences, that's not the first time he has been scolded like that. You can tell by the way that she is reacting, and I think she mentions that you hurt her leg jumping fences again, didn't you? So this is not the first time he's done this. He is courageous, but he is responsible, but reckless. He is... it's actually pretty cool. He's responsible, courageous, and whatnot. He has a personality. All versions of Link have a personality. It's just they don't readily show it to you. Versions of Link, you can identify their personality based on how the characters that know this character talk to him. And I find that very fascinating. But in the manga, he is also much more arrogant, and actually he mentions at one point, like, he would stop doing something for money. And in the scene when the Thundering Horde, led by King Bulblin, knock out Link and take Aaliyah and Cullen, in the manga, he gets his arm chopped off and basically is left for dead. And he heals himself either by the power of the Triforce of Courage that is in his hand, or by because he was in the Light Spirit Spring, it's also possible that the Light Spirit, or Dana, managed to heal him. Midna and Link's relationship is also much more romantic in the manga from what I've seen. And I love the artwork in the manga. Midna is much more creepy looking in the manga, but is also really, really cute when she needs to be. And you also see more of her backstory, which I really love. Pick up the manga for Twilight. Pick up the manga for any of the Zeldas, honestly. They're a fascinating read. They are not canon to the series, but they are a fascinating read. I think that's it for trivia. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's it for trivia. Now, I mentioned before that there is something you can do to Ganondorf that actually is pretty funny and really stupid. And I will show those now. I believe in the fight with Puppet Ganon, with Puppet Zelda Ganon, you can hit back the energy balls with a empty bottle. I believe this to be the case at the time of recording this dialogue, but I don't know if this is true or not. But one thing I do know is true is when you were fighting Ganondorf in the final phase, you can use the fishing rod to kind of distract him as sort of a stupid way to distract him. It's just some really stupid thing that is with his AI. I don't know if this is a glitch or not, but nevertheless, it's pretty funny. And that is about it for the dialogue and other stuff in this game. I believe I mentioned every other thing I wanted to talk about, either in the Let's Play or during the credits of the game. So, next time on The Legend of Zelda Twilight Princess HD, join me as I show the treasure chests from the dungeons that I neglected to get, and also show the locations of the Street Pass stamps that I did not get. I'm sure some of the chests that are in the dungeons that I didn't get before are also in there. There's really no point to getting these other than bragging rights at this point, because Miiverse is sadly no longer on here, but is no longer online. But, you know, I'm going to show these nonetheless, because this is actually pretty fascinating. I will not be filling up the fish journal, but you know, this is also something you can do. From the look of it, there appears to be 8 types of fish. Not counting the skullfish. So, you know, that's also something you can do. So, yeah, I'll see you guys in the next episode. See you guys then.